welcome to the Paletteful Packs YouTube channel. My name is Alice and I'm here to show you the December Paletteful Packs Premier Pack. So I have it right here. I am super excited to see what's inside and I'm sure you guys are too. So without any further ado, let's go open this up, see what's inside and play with some of the supplies. So I have the December Paletteful Packs Premier Pack box here. And if you open it up, it is all festive inside with all of these fun red and green little paper squiggles, so that's super exciting. And then there's a bunch of art supplies underneath. So the first one that is right here on top is this guy, which is a water brush. So this is an Art Advantage water brush. It's size medium, so it's 3mm brush tip, nylon brush tip. And then it has a 9ml reservoir and it does open to the right. So you want to turn it to the right to open it. And this is what it looks like out of the packaging. You can do all kinds of fun things with a water brush. Okay, so the next thing that I see in here is this. And this looks so exciting. So these are the Carandash Neo Color 2 Water Soluble Wax Oil Pastels, and this is a set of 10. I'm guessing these are the colors that you get up here. So these are a water soluble oil pastel, which is extremely interesting. These are supposed to have a velvety texture and an ultra high pigment concentration, as well as like really good light resistance. They're supposed to be really luminous, and it says that it can be used for all forms of creativity, from like drawing on dry or wet material. So let's open this up and see what it looks like inside. And when you open it up, you can see the colors. Wow, those are really pretty. It comes with a little pamphlet with some information on it. I am really excited to try these. These look so beyond beautiful. So the next thing that I'm seeing in here is this guy, and this is a Faber-Castell Pitt Artist's Pen. So this is in the size medium and it's in the color black, and it does come with India ink in it, which means it's waterproof and it has a really high light fastness. And then this is what the tip looks like. It's like a medium size. It looks like probably comparable to a 0.8 or a 0.1. So yeah, it looks like we have a nice waterproof pen to use with the water-soluble crayons or pastels. The next thing that I see in here is this. This is a Derwent Inktense pencil in ink black. So Derwent Inktense pencils are light fast and water-soluble, and they're ink pencils. So you mix them with water and it creates like really fun ink effects, and basically, so it's similar to a watercolor pencil but a lot more intense. Get it? Anyway, when it's dry, it does resemble ink and you can work over the top of it, just like you would any other regular ink. I've never tried the Inktense specifically, so I cannot wait to play with this. So the last thing that we have in here is this watercolor pad. It is 140 pound or 300 GSM, and it comes with 15 7x10" sheets. So this is a strong professional grade watercolor paper with a cold press surface. And it's acid-free with a neutral pH, which is really important if you're considering archival qualities in your artwork. So that is wonderful. It says it has exceptional wet strength and is versatile for all watercolor techniques. So it should work amazingly with these water-soluble wax pastels. So let's go ahead and see how these pastels work on the watercolor paper. Alright, so I already have my sketch sketched out onto the watercolor paper, just in a really kind of loose way. And what I decided to do was do a wintry kind of snowy scene at night with the moon bright and big in the sky, using a lot of blues and greens and some of the purples as well. Just kind of a wintry scene for December, and I thought it would be a fun way to use as many colors as I could. So yeah, and I decided to do a kind of fun stylized manner of doing this as well. So as I said, I had everything sketched out onto the paper, and then I went in with the pastels. So for the snow, I mostly used the blue. Then I also used a little bit of the black and a little bit of the purple to add in some shadows. And then I used the water brush to kind of blend them all together. So yeah, I think it worked really, really well. The white I was able to use over the top to kind of lighten up certain areas. I didn't use it in the actual snow, but I do use it in the trees to kind of push certain trees back into the background. For the trees, I kind of did these big round shapes and filled them in with a gradient going from blue to green, and then I kind of did variants depending on which tree it was. So the tree on the right has brown at the bottom and the tree on the left has like white all over it, so that it will be more pale, if that makes sense, just so that they were all slightly different. And then I added the water and magic happens. It is crazy how pretty and pigmented these pastels are. So yeah, I was really, really pleased with them. They were so, so fun to work with. And the colors are just, so, so pretty. And you really could transform the colors by putting white over the top, which was really, really cool. So again, I used the water brush to go over and kind of blend them together, but I did think that the water brush worked best for detail areas. So later on, when I go in here, I use a larger brush. So I kind of switch between the larger brush for the bigger areas and then the water brush for more detailed work. Because the water brush has a really, really nice fine tip. So it was really easy to get like fine detailed lines. So that was really cool. So then I built up over the top with the pastels, adding more of the green and the brown. The brown is a really good way to kind of tone things down. So as you can see, I kind of put down a lot of the tones and colors before and then everything mixed together. So for the background, I wanted it to be really, really dark because it was the night sky. So the first thing I did was I went in with the Ink Tense pencil, and I started kind of creating a gradient from the bottom up of darkness. And then I went over that with the Caran d'Ache watercolor pastels, primarily the blue, and then I added in some purple as well, just to add it dimension. I'm always about adding dimension to that night sky. I did think that these pastels were really, really fun to use. It was really, really satisfying to put on the water and just see all of the colors blend together. I love water-soluble media, so this was a really, really fun box for me to use. Water-soluble media is like some of my favorite media. I just think it's really fun and almost unexpected. So when you are working with your December box, I would definitely recommend that you embrace the unexpected, because I think that is the funnest way to play with water-soluble media. It works best when you try not to control it too much, if that makes sense. So I again used the large brush to wash out this sky so it was all nice and smooth, and then used the nice fine tip of the water brush to get into the fiddly area, and the Ink Tense blended really, really nicely with the crayons, which was great. So I then used the Ink Tense again because it had like the nice fine tip to draw in the branches of the trees, which I kind of did in a stylized way over the top of these like big green round shapes. And I added in a little bit of the brown pastel over the top. I did find that you could build these pastels up to be like pretty opaque if you wanted. You could leave them very translucent, but you could also build them up kind of on top of each other, and then you could use them dry on top as well. So it was really interesting. There was just kind of a lot of different options as to ways that you can use these. And you can also use them on wet paper as well, like on wet media, which I did a little bit, but not too much. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use them, which was really, really fun to play around with. So again, just doing more of the branches, and the Ink Tense pencil, by the way, was wonderful. It was so black and dark. I'm super, super excited to play around with that more with sketching. For the back tree, I wanted it to kind of be pushed further away, so I used a blue pastel to add in the branches on that so that it looked like it was further in the distance and kind of was visually separated from the trees in the foreground. And at this point, I kind of felt like things were starting to come together, so that made me really happy. I had been a little worried at first. So then I moved on to the bushes, and I wanted the bushes to have a little bit of snow on top of them, a little dusting of snow. So I just colored in below them with the green, and then I added in tones of brown to the bush on the far right that's a little bit closer to us, and I added in tones of blue to the bush that is a little bit further away from us all the way over on the left. And then I just blended them all together. And I used that white as the base for my snow. So one of the things that I tried to think about was kind of contrast and negative space and how the shapes were gonna kind of stand against one another, I guess. And then I used, again, some more of the Inktense pencil over the top, and at this point I was just kind of adding mediums on top of one another, like everything layered really well on top of each other for the most part. Later on I did use the pen on top of the pastels, and where it was really thick with pastel, obviously it was a lot more waxy, so I did kind of have to clean off the tip of the pen in between inking lines, but you'll see that a little bit later. So that's kind of how you do that if you do use it on top of the pastel and it's built up a little bit thicker. There's a tip for you, just have a scribble pad next to you. So then I used the water to melt the snow, kind of, which I used blue and white to keep that light, and then I colored in the moon. I used a lot of water for the moon so that I would get a really nice light blend, and then I soaked it up using some clean paper towel just to kind of create that splotched effect in the moon. And then I added some stars in the background just using a gel pen that I had lying around. I was thinking about like adding snow, but I decided to just stick with like, it's kind of, I don't know, like it's not snowing right now, like it has snowed previously. So as I was saying, you can use the pastels kind of by themselves, and that's what I did with the white one here. I used it to add some texture to the snow and some highlights to the moon and to the like snow on the bushes, and that worked really, really well. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it as well. So that was pretty much it for the painting, and the last thing that I did was go in and outline the foreground with the Pitt Artist's pen, which was the black pen. It has really dark black India ink, which is really, really nice. When using it over the top of the pastel where it was like really heavy in the pastel, as I mentioned before, just have like a scratch pad next to you that you can just kind of wipe off anything that built up on top of the tip, like as you're drawing. So I feel like this added the perfect finishing touch to my illustration, and I'm really happy with how this wintry illustration turned out. I really cannot wait to see what everyone does with the supplies this month. As I said, water-soluble supplies are some of my favorites, and I really, really enjoyed creating this image, and I'm really happy with how it turned out, so I hope you guys liked it as well. And I hope you learned some useful information and tips about how to use the supplies in the December Premiere Pack Paletteful packs. So that is it. I hope that you enjoyed this unboxing and demo of the December Premiere Pack from Paletteful Packs. If you are interested, make sure to check out the link in the description box to go to the Paletteful Packs website and see more about how you can get your own Premiere Pack in the future. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the Paletteful Packs YouTube channel so that you don't miss any more of our unboxings or demos, and have a great rest of your day. Bye!